The dusty attic held forgotten treasures, but for young Elara, burdened by teenage anxieties and the recent ache of losing her beloved grandmother, it was merely a place to hide one rainy afternoon. Seeking solace amidst the cobwebs and old trunks, her fingers brushed against something cold and smooth beneath a moth-eaten quilt, pulling it free. She discovered a magnificent mantel clock unlike any she'd seen. Its dark wood gleamed faintly, and intricate silver vines coiled around its face, but the strangest thing was the hands. Instead of pointing to Roman numerals, they rested on miniature, beautifully painted scenes. Hesitantly, she wound a small, tarnished key she found beside it with a soft, resonant tick-tock. Unlike any mechanical sound she knew, the hands began to move, backwards. A gentle warmth, like sunlight through honey, spread from the clock, washing over Elara. The dusty attic air seemed to shimmer outside. The relentless drumming of rain slowed, then ceased entirely. Droplets hanging from the eaves trembled and began to rise, floating upwards towards the gray clouds that themselves started to thin and dissolve. Leaves swirling in the puddles below her window reversed their dance, spiraling gracefully back towards the branches of the old oak tree. Time wasn't just pausing, it was actively rewinding around her. A silent film played in reverse, centered on the softly glowing clock in her hands. Elara's breath caught, her own worries momentarily forgotten in sheer, wide-eyed wonder. Mesmerized, she tentatively touched the tiny painted scene where the hour hand now pointed, a sunlit kitchen window filled with blooming geraniums. Instantly, the attic dissolved. She wasn't standing on dusty floorboards anymore, but on cool, familiar linoleum. The scent wasn't dust, but cinnamon and baking bread, a fragrance woven into her happiest childhood memories. Sunlight streamed through the very window depicted on the clock, illuminating motes of flower dancing in the air. And there, humming softly, her back to Elara, stood her grandmother, younger, vibrant, her silver hair catching the light as she rolled out pie dough on the worn wooden table. Elara's heart swelled, tears welling up uncontrollably at the impossible, perfect reality surrounding her grandma. Elara's voice was a fragile whisper, choked with emotion she couldn't contain. The figure at the table stilled, then turned. Recognition, pure and warm, flooded her grandmother's eyes, untouched by the confusion such an appearance should have caused. Elara, my little sparrow. Come here, let me see you, she said, her voice the exact melody Elara had yearned to hear. Arms opened wide, and Elara flew into them, burying her face in the soft, flour-dusted fabric of her grandmother's apron. The embrace was solid, real, radiating unconditional love and the faint, comforting scent of lavender soap. It wasn't a ghost or a dream, it was a moment stolen back from time, a sanctuary of pure belonging. That first visit was a balm to her grieving soul. Over following evenings, Elara returned to the attic, winding the clock with reverence. She learned to guide its backward journey, touching different painted scenes on the dial. She found herself sitting beside her younger self and grandma on the porch swing, listening to fireflies and stories about the constellations. She relived baking disasters turned into laughter, quiet afternoons reading picture books, the gentle comfort of Grandma Euro's hand holding hers during thunderstorms. Each journey was a plunge into pure, unadulterated love and security, a vivid reminder of the profound bond they had shared, filling a void she thought was permanent. The magic wasn't infinite. Elara sensed each backward journey seemed to draw a little more energy from the old clock, its wood growing subtly warmer, its tick-tock softer. She understood, with a pang, that these were borrowed moments, precious echoes. She couldn't warn her younger self about the future sadness, nor could she change the inevitable flow of time outside. The clock's influence. The gift wasn't about altering destiny, but about revisiting the pure essence of love and connection, a chance to gather strength and warmth from the past to face the present. It was a profound lesson in cherishing what was, not lamenting what could no longer be. Finally, one evening, after a particularly vivid journey where she simply sat with Grandma, listening to the rhythmic click of knitting needles and comfortable silence, Elara knew, holding the warm clock close, tears tracing peaceful paths down her cheeks, she made a decision. She wouldn't try to drain the last of its magic in a desperate attempt to stay forever in the past. Instead, she carefully carried the clock downstairs, placing it not in the attic, but on the mantelpiece in the living room. The heart of the home Grandma had loved, it belonged here, a silent testament to the enduring power of love and memory. Not hidden away. The clock's hands eventually stilled, its gentle glow fading. It became a beautiful, ordinary timepiece, forever showing the hour of her last visit. Yet its presence was a constant comfort. Elara no longer felt the sharp, desperate pang of grief, replaced by a deep, warm gratitude. When loneliness threatened, she'd glance at the clock, remembering the scent of cinnamon, the sound of Grandma's humming, the feeling of absolute safety. She realized the clock hadn't truly run backwards. It had helped her move forward, carrying the immense, timeless love of her grandmother within her heart, a warm light guiding her way into the future, one peaceful tick-tock at a time.